Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Adam. I always believed that love was the very core of my marriage. For 4 years, Lena and I had built a life together. One grounded in respect, shared dreams, and unshakable trust. I admired her wild spirit, the way she thrived on adventure and lived for spontaneity. To me, that was simply who she was, bold, full of life, and unafraid of the unknown. But what I didn't see was that, beneath the laughter and love we shared, something was quietly shifting. I never imagined the woman I trusted most would be the one to destroy the very foundation of our marriage. What I was about to uncover would force me to question everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and betrayal. It began with subtle changes, things I couldn't quite put my finger on at first. Over the past few months, Lena had grown distant. Our once effortless conversations turned into short, distracted exchanges. And then there was her phone, always in her hand, always between us. She used it more than usual, but it was the way she guarded it that made me uneasy. When I was near her, she quickly closed it as if hiding something. But it wasn't just the phone. Our intimacy had almost completely disappeared. The emotional and physical connection we once shared felt like it had been erased. We never sat down to talk about it, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. One evening, we were sitting on the couch watching an old movie we both used to love. My phone was charging in another room, so I asked if I could borrow hers for a moment to look something up. She hesitated, just for a second, before unlocking it and handing it over. At first, I thought nothing of it, but as I used it, the screen timed out and locked. When I tried to unlock it again, the password didn't work. That's when it hit me like a cold wave. Lena had changed her phone password. In all our years together, she had never done that. When I asked about it, her reaction was defensive. "It's just a habit," she said quickly, avoiding my eyes. "Why do you care so much about my phone?" I let it go, tried to silence the gnawing feeling in my gut. I didn't want to become paranoid, so I pushed the thought aside. But the seed of doubt had already been planted. Weeks later, my suspicions were confirmed in the most devastating way. One morning, after Lena had rushed out of the house, I was looking through her bag for a missing pen. That's when I found it, a small, unmarked blister pack of morning after pills tucked into the side pocket. My heart sank. It was the confirmation I had been dreading. She was seeing someone else. And this wasn't just an innocent mistake. I stood frozen, staring at the pills, my mind piecing everything together. All the excuses, all the distance, all the nights she had turned away from me. It finally made sense. The trust we had built, the love we had shared, it felt like it had all been a lie. For months she had been pulling away, coming up with reasons to avoid intimacy. At first, I thought it was stress, maybe exhaustion. But now, holding those pills, I realized it was something far worse. The betrayal cut deeper than I ever thought possible. It wasn't just about the absence of affection. It was about the lies, the secret life she had been living while pretending nothing was wrong. That night, when Lena came home, I was waiting. I stood in the middle of the living room, arms crossed, my expression cold and unyielding. Before she could even set her bag down, I held up the blister pack, the foil catching the light. "What's this?" I asked, my voice calm but edged with fury. Lena's face drained of color. She froze, her breath catching before she attempted to play innocent. "It's not mine," she stammered, her eyes darting nervously around the room. "You wouldn't understand." But I had already seen enough. "Don't lie to me," I said, my tone ice cold. "I know what this is." "What's going on, Lena?" The confrontation escalated. Lena tried to deflect, claiming the pills belonged to a friend. When that failed, she changed her story, saying they were just a precaution. But her words sounded hollow, unconvincing. I could see the desperation in her voice and the guilt in her eyes. After a long, tense silence, her shoulders dropped and she finally admitted the truth. "Fine," she snapped, her voice sharp with anger. "I've been seeing someone else. I wasn't happy, and I didn't know how to tell you, because you'd never understand." Her confession felt like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a one-time mistake. It was a deliberate choice, a betrayal of everything we had built together. "You've been what?" I asked, my voice low and controlled. I stared at her, searching her face for even a shred of remorse. But all I saw were excuses and justifications. That only made me angrier. This was an accident. It was proof of how little she valued our life together. With a final, unwavering look, I said, "Not in my house." Lena froze, stunned, as if she couldn't process what she had just heard. "What do you mean? What are you saying?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Pack your things and leave," I said firmly. My tone left no room for debate. Her face twisted with emotion, anger, disbelief, maybe even guilt. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking, "but this is who I am. I need excitement. I need something more than what you can give me. I can't be the woman you want me to be." Her words cut deep, but they only hardened my resolve. "Not in my house," I repeated quietly, this time with absolute finality. The next few hours passed in a blur. Lena moved through the house, gathering her belongings, her hands shaking as she packed. I silently removed every gift I had given her, the jewelry, the handbags, the souvenirs from our trips. They were more than just things. They were symbols of the life we once had, a life she had thrown away. "Take your clothes and anything that belongs to you," I said coldly as she zipped up her suitcase. "Everything else stays." The gifts weren't for someone who would betray me. They were for the woman I thought you were, not for a liar. Tears filled her eyes, but I felt nothing. My heart was done. When she finally walked out the door, I didn't stop her. I didn't say another word. I just stood there, still as stone, as she drove away. It wasn't a moment of victory, but it was the first step toward healing. The house felt unervingly quiet, stripped of the laughter, the arguments, the future we once planned. But for the first time in months, I could breathe. The fog that had been clouding my mind had finally lifted. Yes, the pain was still there, the pain of losing someone I had loved so deeply, but it no longer chained me to the past. I wasn't going to let her betrayal dictate my future. Lena had shown me who she truly was, and in that moment, I had rediscovered who I was. I took a deep, steady breath and closed the door behind me. The sound of the latch clicking shut felt final, the end of an era. It wasn't just the end of my marriage. It was the end of the version of myself who tolerated being in the dark for so long. Now, I had to rebuild not just my home, but my sense of self. I had to find peace again, this time on my own terms. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt ready.